Welcome back to AI Verdict. Today we are diving into a massive update from Google's Antigravity called Skills. And look, this is not just some small new feature. It's a huge shift in how we're all going to build and use AI agents. We're about to see how one single skill can literally turn an AI into an autonomous data scientist. All right, let's jump right in.
So just imagine this for a second. You've got a pile of data, a really important business question, but instead of spending weeks with a team of analysts, you just ask an AI in plain English, and it comes back with a full professional-grade analysis. Sounds like something out of a movie, right? Well, with Antigravity's new skills, this is becoming very, very real. Let's see it in action.
So you give it some sales data, you ask it to analyze it, and bam! Result number one, a complete breakdown of your customer segments. It just automatically found the patterns and sorted customers into these useful groups. You know, things like high-value loyalists or at-risk customers. And it did all of that without anyone telling it how. It's unsupervised learning, totally automated. But it doesn't stop there. Using the exact same underlying skill, someone then asks it to predict customer lifetime value. And just like that, the agent completely shifts gears. It builds a regression model to actually forecast future revenue. It just shows how incredibly adaptive this thing is. It can tackle different jobs on the fly. And for its final trick, the agent gets a new task: figure out which customers are about to leave. And boom, it instantly pivots again, this time to a classification problem, flagging all the at-risk accounts. So let's get this straight. One agent, one single skill, and it just solved 3 completely different machine learning problems. So how on earth is this possible? Let's look under the hood. Okay, this is where the real magic is. We're about to see exactly how one reusable skill file lets this agent be smart enough to handle 3 totally different requests from a simple one-line prompt. And it all starts with something as simple as this. Look at it, it's just plain English. There's no code, no technical jargon, just a clear goal: find the customer groups. This is what the new interface for doing complex data science looks like. It really lowers the bar for everyone to get involved. So what happens next is just wild. The agent understands that this is a clustering problem. Then it literally writes its own Python code, runs the whole analysis, and then generates this beautiful, comprehensive HTML dashboard with all the results. It's the entire data science workflow from start to finish, kicked off by a single sentence. Now, for the second task, notice the subtle but super important change in the prompt. It uses the keyword predict. That one little word is a massive signal to the agent. It tells it to switch from looking at what happened to modeling what will happen. And this is what's so brilliant about skills. The skill file itself didn't change at all. It's just a general framework. The agent was smart enough to see the word predict and know, okay, for this job, I need to pull out a different tool from my toolbox, a regression model. It writes a totally new script and generates a new report, all on its own. And finally, the third prompt asks the agent to identify churn risk. This is another signal for another kind of problem. This time, it's classification. You know, a yes or no question. Is this customer going to leave, or are they going to stay? And you guessed it, it adapts perfectly once again. It writes the predict_churn.py file, runs the model, and creates a report highlighting the customers who are most likely to leave. So I have to say it one more time because it's so important. One skill, 3 different problems, 3 custom solutions, all done automatically. So how does this work? Let's finally get into the anatomy of a skill. So what is the secret sauce here? What is this magic? Well, it all comes down to a single file that pretty much acts as the agent's brain. It's the source of all its expertise. So let's take a look at what actually makes a skill tick. At its heart, a skill is basically a reusable playbook. It's a set of instructions written in plain English. You're not just telling the AI what to do one time, you're teaching it your methodology for how to solve a certain type of problem. And because of that, it can do it reliably and consistently every single time. And this is a total leap beyond traditional prompting. You know how it is, you have to write these incredibly long, detailed prompts for every little thing, and you still get slightly different, inconsistent results. Well, with a skill, you define it once, and that's it. From then on, you get efficient, standardized, high-quality results every time. And here's the best part. You do not need to be a programmer to build one of these. The skills.md file is just English. You give it high-level instructions, you show it examples of what a good output should look like, and you can even give it resources like dashboard templates to use. You're teaching the agent the what, and it figures out all the nitty-gritty how on its own. Okay, so we've seen what it is and how it works. But now the big question. Why does this really matter? Why does this change everything? For me, it comes down to 3 key verdicts about why skills are such a game changer. First off, you save a ton on tokens. Think about it. By baking all those instructions into a reusable skill, you don't have to put them in every single prompt. Your prompts get way shorter, you save a bunch of money on API calls, and the whole thing just becomes way more efficient, especially if you're doing this at scale. Second, and this is massive for any company, perfect standardization. Just imagine every single report from every team across your entire organization having the exact same professional look, format, and tone. With skills, you define that standard once, and every agent will follow it perfectly. It's like having a quality control bot for all your outputs. And third, this isn't just some walled-off Google feature. Skills are quickly becoming a real industry standard. The idea started with Anthropic, now Gemini uses it, and Antigravity fully supports it. And that's fantastic for us because it means we can build these skills and they'll likely work across different platforms, which helps us avoid getting locked into just one system. And for anyone who's a little nervous about just letting an AI run wild, don't worry, Antigravity thought of that. You can either let it run in a fully autonomous mode or you can use secure mode. In secure mode, the agent will literally pause and ask for your permission, a thumbs up, before it executes any code. So you get all the power, but with a human safety switch.
So let's bring this all home for the final verdict. What we're looking at here is a fundamental change in our work. We're moving away from being people who write code to becoming people who architect expertise. We're designing the brains for intelligent systems that can then go out and do the work for us.
The most crucial takeaway is this. You are no longer just the coder. You are the architect. Your job is now to design the skill that writes the code for you. You are literally cloning your own expertise, your deep knowledge about, say, machine learning, into an agent that can then act on its own. You're not just coding anymore. You're building a digital apprentice that works for you 24/7.
And that leaves us with a really fascinating question to chew on. If you could take any part of your professional expertise, anything you do, and clone it into an autonomous AI agent that could just work on your behalf, what would you clone first? What problem would you solve? Think about that, because this is the future we're heading